What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com, host of the Sports Card Strategy Show. Welcome to Lefty Cards right here on the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, discussing the latest trends, best practices, and insider tips on sports card investing. This episode is brought to you by NoOffSeason.com, the number one place to make money flipping sports cards. Get a free 30-day trial today at NoOffSeason.com. And now, everybody, it's time for Lefty Cards.
What's up, sports card people? We got me, we got Interner. We're back, and we are ready to party for another good episode of Lefty Cards, part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network. We're excited about talking about a lot of things today. We're going to talk about things from a baseball player that's hot, that is not a prospect, and what to do with that. Jace Young's just been called up, so we're definitely going to get his cards out there. We're going to look forward to some quarterback news, and then we're going to run some cards through the formula today just to see what to do when a player is not on the list. So, Interner, my man, we just saw Fanatics Fest. Obviously, both of us were not there, but it was all over the media. What was your take from somebody who's just consuming sports card content?
I was kind of jealous, but just because I got my first taste of a big card show, so of course you want to go to every card show at that point. But no, I was also just seeing all these like athletes and celebrities who I like have seen on TV and like I like watching, from the NBA guys to even like I've been big on UFC for the past couple of years. So seeing like Pereira like do the punching bag like at one booth was pretty awesome to see. But it was very cool, and I know it looked more of a fan experience than probably a card show, which that's why like I say I'm jealous, because I'm a big fan of the sports. But it looked like a great event that was held, and looked pretty professional, and excited to see what Fanatics has for the future.
Yeah, I know that Paul's obviously going to make some content for the one sports card representative or one no off season representative that was there from our team. Paul was there, so I'm excited to make some content with him and ask him some questions about what it was like, and what are the things he saw and things like that. Some of the things that we did see was Jake Paul making a $22,000 purchase from the Roadshow guys, and I know Krim was really excited about that. I'm sure we'll have him on in a week or two where he'll talk about the experience of what it was like to run a table at Fanatics Fest. But then, yeah, I also saw that is it Pereira that was there?
Yeah.
Pereira did the punching bag, and then Speed out punched him.
I did see that
on the numbers. Pretty crazy. So everybody from Speed being there to Jalen Brunson to
Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg. We had like Michael Rubin called pretty much everybody he knew to be at this event, and pretty much anybody who wasn't in season was there, and so it was a really cool event. I think it was good for the hobby from a perspective of not being there. I'll be curious to know what it was like being there. And so I know Paul's going to make some content, and already has made some content this week about, is it worth it? Was it fun? And so we will definitely wait to see. Of course, this is the first one. I think Fanatics Fest is trying to make pretty much their own national card show. Like they're trying to make their own, like, hey, if we can make it to one card show a year, we want to go to this one type thing. And so, of course, with it being less card related, more fan related, it's going to bring in a whole different demographic of people. And so should be fun. I think it's good for the hobby. Like we've said before, Fanatics has quite the reach to expand the card community. Just their email contacts alone could expand the hobby by 10x or something like that. So there was an article we read about that a couple of years ago, which is an insane statistic about how much the hobby could grow just from Fanatics coming into ownership of a lot of things. So very excited about that. Still All things are pointing up in that realm. Michael Rubin, a really smart businessman. So looking forward to that.
Paul also scored big with the Topps Chrome Cactus Jack box. I don't know if you saw
Yeah, he
that.
did. Yeah, he did.
Which
Yeah,
I thought that was.
what was your favorite part of that?
I thought that was pretty cool. Just like, of course, he didn't open the box, so I'm wondering like what. Of course, it's hyped up because of the limited release or limited like quantity, but I was wondering like what kind of cards are in there to make that so valuable because Paul made $1,000 profit off of it. Like, y'all could see that on his social media at Sports Card Strategy Show on Instagram. He posted a video of he bought it for $300 and sold it for $1,300 at a booth in 20 minutes after he got it. So, I mean, that's awesome in itself right there. But I'm wondering what kind of cards were in here to make this so like hyped up with limited
there was
release.
there's a Cactus Jacks release with this product that they've shown some of the parallels and stuff with it. Looks pretty cool, honestly. I mean, if I'm 100% honest, I looked at the cards and thought, oh, okay, like it reminded me of like the Steve Aoki parallels that they put in the Topps Champions League stuff, and it was just like, okay, I mean, it was fine, but a lot of people are super pumped about the Cactus Jacks brand and how all that's put together. And so, and from Paul's perspective, Paul's like, I don't give a crap about this. I just want to make $1,000, which is exactly what I would have done if I was there as well. So it reminded me of a lot of the same stuff that we were doing at the National in terms of flipping the cards that we were getting for free in our VIP pass, so how did that end up for you? Your auctions were going after the National. How did the free cards end up selling or not?
They went well. I sold the skeins for about $10 and sold the pack that I bought with it for about $10. So I profited about $10 with that, which is profit right there.
Yeah, that's $10. That's 10 cards for you, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I sold some of the cards in the National VIP pack that I didn't have graded. I sold the Cameron Brink. I sold the Angel Reese. Probably made about $6 to $8 off both of those. And then I just sold the couple of packs as well. The one with Michael Jordan in the front. The one with Jaden Daniels on the front. I probably netted about $5-10 on all those. So not like huge gains, but it's literally free money because it was in a bag that we got.
Yeah.
Of course, paying for the VIP pass was not free money, but getting stuff like getting extra stuff like in a goodie bag is what I was saying was free money.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's the same as getting a 5% discount or something like that. Like a 5% discount is never really anything. It's usually like less than the taxes that they put on the end, but it's just enough to where it's like, hey, if you're saving money perpetually, then that's going to be advantageous for you. The PSA special that came out after we got home from the National, the NBA and the NHL specials that came home. When we got home, were like NBA cards were $15 a pop, at grading. I ended up, but they also did WNBA cards. So I sent in some Tyrese Maxey Prism Silvers that I had and some other stuff, just like random things I had laying around. And then I ended up breaking that National pack and sent in the Steph Curry that was in there, the Steph Curry National whatever leaf thing, and I sent in all of the Caitlin Clark, Wemby, Cameron Brink, and Angel Reese cards that we had in there as well. Sent those off. So like it was a 10 card minimum, so it was a relatively small submission, but we'll see how that goes. So I did end up grading the cards that you sold for $5 or $6. So it'll be a good comparison of like, I got mine for free as well, but I spent $15 on the grading fee. Is that going to come out in the wash? Am I going to sell it for more than $20? That'll be a good comparison between the two of us.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me talk about a guy that is absolutely on fire right now. Corbin Carroll has 10 bombs in his last 29 games, Turner. He is tearing it up, my friend. And so I'm wondering, okay, we've done a lot of things over the last 6 months based on the formula. We've done a lot of stuff, well, not necessarily on this show, but in the sports card network at nooffseason.com, we've been talking about the formula a lot. It's a mathematical approach to sports cards, trying to take the emotional experience out of it. And we have tried to look at, are there ways that we have been making money that we can improve on making more money? And so, like, for instance, typically we had just looked at Bowman Chrome autos, or we had just looked at Prism Silvers, or depending on the athlete, the rookie ticket autos or stuff. What we're finding out, the formula is able to spit out for us a good percentage based on other cards that these athletes have. So my brain got to thinking, okay, we historically just do prospects in baseball, and it's been hard to figure out how to make money outside of prospects, or we've just said, like, just don't do it. So I wanted to look at this morning, last night at, I think this tweet came out at like midnight or something like that, because this game was played against the Arizona Diamondbacks, so the game was kind of late. And I was like, hey, let's look at this, and let's just run him through the formula and see if this guy running through the formula is profitable or not. So that's what we're going to do live. I'm going to open up the stage here for those of you guys that are watching live on YouTube. But those of you that are not, we are running through the no off season premium offering of, we're running cards manually through the formula. So I've populated a couple of them, but we're going to do it live. So if you're watching with us, like, try to follow along. Basically, we are putting these cards manually through the formula. There's 3 tabs when you go to your premium offering at nooffseason.com. By the way, extremely worth it. You're probably going to make your money back in the first month of using this tool. Extremely worth it. We're actually going to talk later in this episode about a card that I ran through the formula earlier in the year, and I'm now positioned to profit on it. So you're going to say, try our sports card formula. We built this calculator so that you can own cards through our formula. So name of the card would be Bowman Chrome, Corbin Carroll, Bowman Draft. Let's see, Bowman Draft. Is it Bowman Draft Auto on Market
Bowman
Movers?
Draft Chrome.
Bowman Draft Chrome Auto. Okay. The target cost, I already looked up on Market Movers. The target cost right now for a raw Corbin Carroll Auto is $103, which is lower than I expected it to be. Grading fee around $21 for a bulk value submission. That's a total cost of negative $82. So we're actually going to go to another tab here and say, okay, you put in your PSA 9 price with us. So I already have this kind of populated. We're going to share this tab really quick. So we look at Market Movers. We've got Corbin Carroll Bowman Draft Chrome Auto. You're seeing the raw price right here of $103. We're going to go down and tab to a PSA 9. The PSA 9 last sale was $133. So I'll put that in over here. I know you can't see that because I'm only sharing one tab at a time, but I put it in the Market Movers, and then it's asked for the PSA 10 price. PSA 10 price is $394 right now. So $394. Current PSA 10 market price. Okay, and then we also look up the gem rate at gemrate.com, and I've had Turner pre-positioned for this. So Turner, you looked up the gem rate. What was it?
54%.
Okay, so 54%. That's the average of what most cards are for modern. And then enter 5.4. There's a little description down here. Other grades. Okay, there's 4.6. Profit goal. Let's see. Profit goal is 1,000. All right, should I buy this card? Let's share this tab. Oh, forgot to come back to this one. Okay, so it says halt. Based on the ROI percentage, this is a super risky card to buy and the potential better options. What should you know? Okay, so Did it spit it out? Well, I've only done this a couple of times, so that's why I was like, I think it'd be valuable for us to do it live, because I think with a tool you want to be, it's only effective for how good you are at using the tool. So as the reason why we did this is, as I'm sharing this screen right now, you're seeing a lot of names of a lot of cards on here with a lot of percentages. And I searched Corbin Carroll, and when I came over here, there was no Corbin Carroll in the raw to grade. So I went over to try the sports card. We got the data already in here. And so it says that we would have a total buy-in. So the potential ROI is a negative 3%. So don't buy this card, essentially, is what the formula is saying. Because this, even though he's tearing it up right now, even though he has 10 bombs in the last 21 games, the risk here way outweighs the profit. So, and this is from a raw to grade standpoint. Now, if we do the traditional standpoint and go back to the market movers tab and share the tab, over the last 90 days is what the last 3 months is what we typically look at. Corbin, at one point, you could have bought Corbin Carroll for $313, and his last card sold for $394. So he is on an upward trajectory right now because he's finally coming out from an absolutely abysmal, slump that he's been in. But Turner, I think the play here is that like we need to either be smart about like finding these. This is essentially like the exact same play as like the Vladimir Guerrero play that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, except for we didn't play this one before it started to pop up. So obviously at this point, Corbin Carroll's not the move currently. Like the formula just spit out a negative 30% ROI or negative 3% ROI. Not a card to get into. There's totally, there's like 50 to 60 cards on the formula that have a positive return on investment. This is not a good card to have, but it is a good point to look at where this card was down almost $100 from where it's currently at a couple of weeks ago. So there are still plays to be made if you believe in a guy's turnaround. But at the same time, no one saw Corbin Carroll's turnaround coming. So it's a risky play to make in the first place. We're trying to make non-risky plays at the Sports Card Strategy or at the Sports Card Network and nooffseason.com. And so Corbin Carroll, we've just ran him through the formula. His Bowman Chrome draft auto is not one worth pursuing currently, but I just wanted to be able to check it out live, what it looks like to potentially have an idea, run it through the formula, and be able to create your own success outside of us just being able to tell you what to do. Just like we've talked about a lot, and Turner, this firsthand, we like to be able to have you guys create your own success rather than be able to just follow us. Anybody, like even goats follow the shepherd wherever they go. So it's like, I don't want you guys to just be blindly following. We want you to be able to create your own success and create something of a strategy of yourself, and using the tools that we use, be able to find success. Like this is a regular thing that I would have done offline to run a card through the formula and be like, hey, is this a good play right now? And then I would have found out what you guys all just found out with me live. I'm like, that's not a good play. I need to look for another direction. It's always good to have an inkling towards a play. Like you see some news in the media and you're like, okay, is there an opportunity to win here? But I would have thought that the return on this card would have been okay. But with a negative 3% return, it's like, oh, I'm just not even gonna worry about this anymore. I'm gonna keep playing my odds on other cards. So that's just a reality of trying to have you guys use a tool that is really beneficial. So if you guys have this tool or don't know what I'm talking about, you can get a free 30-day trial at nooffseason.com. But before we go any further, we'll have the man Paul talk about that. So
what's up, everyone? I'm Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com. Why should you subscribe to nooffseason.com's premium membership? Do you like the content on this show? Want more? Well, a free 30-day trial membership at nooffseason.com gives you a Friday edition of the Sports Card Strategy Show called The Overflow Show. It's a premium podcast for members only every Friday, and you can ask an unlimited amount of questions to build your sports card investment portfolio, and I answer them for you. I put in the work, research, and do the analysis, give you the best possible answer so you can increase your chances of making money flipping sports cards. And if that's not enough reason to sign up for a free 30-day trial today, you get Sports Card School, tons of premium members-only articles, and our new formula-based sports card rankings to help you find the cards with the best ROI to make money in the hobby. Sign up today at nooffseason.com.
The man, Paul, doing his best effort at following me and what I was talking about. And of course, that was not pre-recorded. Okay, so what we're talking about now, Turner, is a guy that's just been called up that you have been excited about and you have rookies ready to sell. So who's that man and what do you have to sell?
Jace Young is the player, and I have probably about 25 cards that I need to sell of his.
What do you think? Do you know off the top of your head what your investment is on that lot?
I would say about 400 to 500, just because of the grading aspect.
Yeah.
Like I got in at a very low point. Like I've talked to you before. Like I got a lot of 20 paper prospect cards of his, a lot of 20 of them for $15. And I submitted those SGC, and all of them got 10s. And then,
What a play.
Yeah, 100% on those, which is something I would probably never be able to do again, but we'll see. But then I have a couple PSA 10s, a couple refractors, and I think maybe a base, but it's mainly like I think I have like 4 or 5 refractors that I need to sell, and maybe 1 sapphire.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, you need to get those cards listed, brother.
Yeah.
Like that needs to be what you do today on your lunch break.
Yeah.
So,
ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, he has been he hit the major leagues. Obviously, he's the brother of Josh Young, who also is a superstar in his own right. And Josh Young has said many times, Jace is better than me. So if Jace is better than him and Josh was pushing for Rookie of the Year votes, like that's a good thing. So Jace coming in August 18th, or the weekend of August 18th was the weekend for him getting called up. Probably won't have that much to push towards any sort of accolades this season, but supposing that he does stay up, it could be pretty cool. He's on the same team as Colt Keith. They're both in the majors right now. That Tigers team is bad enough to where they're probably going to keep calling people up. So it's funny that like Jace Young is in the majors and Spencer Torkelson is not. So just a weird reality that we live in of like, where is this Tigers team gone over the last couple of years? So yeah, definitely get your Jace Youngs out there, get your prospects sold. He's another win that we've been talking about for a long time. So yeah, now is the time to sell. Don't wait on anything. This is a prospect call up. Actually, maybe even 2 days ago, have your card listed. So however you want to do that, Turner, whether you're going to do auctions or buy it nows or whatever, I think you know enough strategy to be able to win. So definitely don't hold any of them back, though. You want to get all those out. So all right, so we're going to come up with 3 players that you want to run through the formula, and I know you have them already like preloaded, and we're going to do essentially what we've just done with what we did a second ago with Corbin Carroll, but we're going to do it with some guys that are already on the formula. So I'm going to add this back to the stage. We're going to add the formula rankings, formula-based rankings, sports card rankings, and we're going to go through the raw to graded and already graded based on the guys that you wanted to look into. So I just want to, like, today's episode largely is about getting to use this and being quote unquote dangerous with the sports card rankings, raw to grade and already graded tabs on the nooffseason.com. I think I would promote it as literally one of the smartest tools in the hobby to make money off of. I'm going to share how I've made good money on this, like literally right now. And so I just would like to point out as well that the Lionel Messi 2014 Prism World Cup base card is right now, it's one of the hottest cards that you can have at a 90% ROI potentially. Like, so, you know, that is a current live standing. Now those cards raw are extremely hard to find, and even harder to find them at a $10 target cost. But what that means is that is a last official sold card. Somebody acquired a 2014 Prism World Cup card for $10, and they're selling for about $155. So that is an extremely good ROI based on if you're able to gem that. So the average sale price is $73, which includes PSA 9. And this tool is extremely conservative as well. So these numbers could be a little bit better when you go through them yourself. All right, so let's go through the sports card rankings based on some of the guys that you would like to look up. So who do you want to look up first?
Look up Joe Burrow first.
Joey B. So if you look up Joe Burrow on the raw to grade, the two cards that are on here are one card that is a optic base raw that you can get for $25. Now, when you can see this, right, Turner?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so if you look at the second line, the target cost was $25 for this card, but the PSA 10 is $89. So you would think, okay, that's fine. The average sale price is only $55 though. So after a $21 grading fee, you're pretty much making nothing, and then with shipping, that's almost. I think you're a little bit under. Yeah. So the projected ROI here at the end is a negative 0.03, which is a negative 3% loss on a optic base. But if you go up and buy an optic hollow, the prices are completely different. So it goes from a 3% return to a 34% return, which is a massive difference. But like, of course, you would need a little more of, you would need a little more capital in this case, but this is around the range where you are able to buy in on the top end. Like, I know you've been purchasing around $200 cards in the past, so a target cost of $175 is not completely out of your wheelhouse. You would maybe have to make a certain, like, this is the card for the quarter or the card for the month based on how your portfolio goes. But if you bought a Joe Burrow optic hollow, the target cost of $175 with the PSA 10 selling at $455, and the average price of all the graded 9s and 10s being $304. The total profit goal is always 1,000 on these. Just an easy number for us to be able to look for. You would have a potential return on investment of a 34% run, which is pretty good. That's a pretty good return, especially if it's in 2 months or however long the cycle takes from a raw to grade standpoint. All right, let's run Burrow through the graded, already graded,
grade to grade,
or still graded, as I have coined on accident. So this one is a little bit different. This one, you're kind of selling on hype cycles. So you would be right now, this would not be a great play, or this would be a great play to make on already graded, because you don't have to wait on the long-term cycle or the someone else's out turn. Like on the raw to grade, you are waiting for an external company's time. Like they are not concerned about our time, obviously, and so on the grade to grade scale, you're waiting on a performance marker, but at the same time, if we are savvy, like we are at the Sports Card Strategy Show, you can do this in a lot better. So all of these cards, actually, from the graded to graded standpoint, with a sale marker of September or October, have a positive return on investment. Now, the cheapest one is $140 with only a 3% return, but there are several cards in this list that are over 15% return on investment. Now, we've talked about this several times, Turner. What would be the card that you would say, okay, if I'm going to buy a Joe Burrow card, this is the one I'd go for?
Well, I did buy the second one, the Prism Base 307,
Yep.
and I actually got in at 125 this week.
Hey.
So I
Yeah.
got
So
under the
these are
target
current
cost.
prices. These are current prices, and I'm sure you bought it in the off season, right?
I bought it this past week.
Oh, sick! So
Yeah.
you got a great deal on this card because the last sold would have been 144. So the formula already is looking in your massive favor. So the projections are better for you than 22%. That's a great turnaround. But I'm assuming you would have not looked for a select 246 club level silver PSA 10.
No.
Yeah, I mean, so like that target cost is 195, which is a little more target cost, but that return on investment is 38%. So
Mhm.
you would have only need 7 of those to make $500 rather than 16 of those, 16 of the base prism. Now, profit is profit. And guys at Turner and I's level are not looking necessarily at this percentage needed column. That's not necessarily what we're needing because the total profit goal of $1,000 is not really obtainable for us, most likely, because we don't have 5 to 6 grand to pour into one specific card. That's just not where either one of us are at. I mean, pardon my take, Turner. I'm just assuming that's not where you're at.
Yeah.
And so um, the but the 22% return is exactly where we're at, because we do want to be able to make 22% returns, and that's exactly what we're going for. So Turner coming in at going to make better than 22% on this Joe Burrow card. Did you just buy the Prism base because that's the card you were looking for, or did you use the formula?
It was the card that I was looking for. I didn't. I was looking at like market movers and looking at like past eBay sales, and I've been using market movers a lot lately because like a lot of these quarterbacks they were higher priced last year than they were this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking that like a lot of these starting quarterbacks are pretty undervalued right now. Even like going into week 2 of the preseason, like I feel like there's a lot of upside with a lot of them. And the other two quarterbacks that we'll talk about too, like the three quarterbacks that I'm mentioning today, like all three have proven themselves in the past years. They just either underperformed this past year or got hurt or both. And so I did not look at the formula. I probably should have, but it still worked out to my favor.
Yeah,
With
over a
Joe Burrow.
22% return. That's good eyesight. That at least tells you what it does tell you is that you're doing a good job of doing what you do, which is making money selling sports cards. So let's jump to our next commercial, and then we're going to come back with the next of the two guys that you're interested in.
Kendall, are these people ready to start grading their sports cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today.
All right, so let's jump through a couple of these other guys because I want to be able for you to make it to work on time. So
I've got time.
what's the next guy?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. I already see one of his cards up here. So the downtowns on the raw to grade scale are incredible investments. If you're able to find a Donruss downtown around 550 for the 2021, the potential PSA 10 return or the potential projected return of any of the grades is average cost of 1368. So that's a potential ROI of 92% on a downtown. That sounds incredible, Turner. That is definitely where you want to be with a 92%. So the raw percentage of these of the two cards that are in the raw to grade formula already for Trevor Lawrence are an Optic downtown and a Donruss downtown. The Optic is already coming in at 966, so you got to have about $1,000 to make this play. But the PSA 10 is selling for 2,000, so it's a potential turn of 22%, which is the exact percentage that your Joe Burrow came in at, but except for obviously when you're playing 22% on $1,000, it's a lot different than playing 22% on $100. But the numbers are still the same. It depends on, it's the simple formula of having money to make money here. Now, downtowns, what's your opinion on downtowns, Turner?
I like downtowns, but they're definitely out of my price range.
Yeah, me too. Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. That's mainly what I'm going to say about them. They look like pretty cool cards, but it's harder for me to like look at downtowns and think like, yeah, I can make a lot of money on this
Yeah.
because just they're already hyped up as it is, and it almost seems like there's got to be like performance markers for them for like the players for the cards to go up because like the cheaper downtowns and even like kabooms for example, both of them, like the cheaper guys are guys that either haven't performed well or haven't performed well yet, compared to like Trevor Lawrence, for example, who his cards his cards are undervalued right now, just overall. But
Mhm.
you look at the top dollar downtowns and kabooms, and it's for guys that are potential GOAT status. So yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
think about downtowns in general.
Yeah, there's a there's actually no auctioned ones available right now. So like if you were to look for this 2021 Trevor Lawrence downtown, there are none on auction right now. So sick card, obviously. There's also a like a another parallel that's like a it's the optic has like the laser parallel in the background. But
I do not
um
like that.
yeah, you'd rather go with the original.
Yeah,
That's fair. Well, it's twice as cheap, so
yeah.
definitely do that. All right, let's look at the already graded Trevor Lawrence as well. So All right, Trevor Lawrence is not in the list here. So we will look. Let's pull up a specific card for you. So what card do you want to look for Trevor Lawrence in the graded to graded standpoint?
We can look at the 2021 Panini Prism base PSA 10.
Trevor, let's see. Trevor Lawrence, Prism base. So 2021 Trevor Lawrence Prism base, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's the target cost? Cost of a let's see.
I can look at market movers real
Yeah,
quick.
if you have market movers pulled up, that would be sick. While he's pulling this up, it's just this is we are trying to do this live tool of like saying this is how we use the tool and this is how we do our success. For those of you that are listening, we're doing this at nooffseason.com/the sports card formula rankings. There is no Trevor Lawrence cards currently in the already graded uh, selection that they have there. They have about I think 100 to 200 cards that are already in there. Of course, there's way more than 100 and 200 cards out there. And so there's a way to also put your cards through the calculator as well. So it asks a certain amount of questions. Name of the card is on there. Target cost, which is what Turner's looking up for the cost of the raw card right now. And then we'll go from there.
So the cost of the raw card is $4.58.
All right. So $4.58. Grading fee is about $21. So the total cost of this card is $22.58. What's the PSA 9 price?
PSA 9 price is $15.
All right. $15. What's the PSA 10 price?
PSA 10 price is $110.
All right. 110. All right. What's the gem rate on this card?
It is loading as we speak.
And when we're talking about when we're running these cards through this part of the formula, it is a raw to grade strategy that it's looking at.
Well, this card is definitely a better grade to grade. It is a gross 9% gem rate.
No way.
There are 408 gems and 4,495.
Oh my Lord.
So
That
this
is crazy.
I have not seen anything worse.
So this is a horrific return on investment of 21.6 negative 21.6% because of the abysmal 9% grade gem rate. So definitely not the card you want to be investing in. And I'm not even going to push the button of should I buy this card or not. We have just figured it out because using a tool that we recommend at the gym rates is something you should definitely do. But what you should not do is invest in a card from a raw to grade standpoint that has a 9% gym rate. Now, what Paul talks about a lot is if you are looking at a card with your hand and you are like, this is a gem card, then go ahead and submit that. But this is like over the bulk play of what everyone else has done. There are a 9% gem rate on the investment of this card, which is crazy. That is insane. Most are around 50 to 60%, especially for ultra modern. So it's usually between 40 and 50% in there. 54, like we had earlier, is pretty good gem rate. And still, that was like this isn't a good investment. So definitely something that we would need to work on. This card, not a good investment. Okay, let's jump to your third guy. We'll run the third guy through.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Love me some Jalen Hurts, dude. About to have a great year. So from a raw to grade standpoint, if you were to purchase the Jalen Hurts 2020 Optic Hollow right now for $50, so this is about in the wheelhouse of what Turner is usually looking for, or this is like on the top end of what he's usually looking for. The 2020 Optic Hollow target costs $50. PSA 10 value of $224. The average sale price is 150 or 146. So that's almost a 3-time flip. I can tell you it's going to look good. If you look at the very end of the list, it is a 65% ROI. Extremely good on an Optic Hollow Jalen Hurts 2020. And then the second card is Jalen Brunson. So we're not the same guy. So the Jalen Hurts card that's on the raw to grade scale already is a 65% return on investment. So extremely good. If we look at Jalen Hurts on the graded to grade, there's also 2 Jalen Hurts cards on the grade to grade as well. Both of them profitable. One of them 29% and one of them 4%. The 4% is a $50 buy-in of a select concourse PSA 10. The average sale price is $65, so it's only a 4% return after you purchase this item. So definitely should look for something different. But there's another one, the Optic Hollow that we just talked about. You purchase it at $224 target cost. The average price in September, which is next month, is 360 projected sale price. So that's a 30% or 29% return in over maybe a month's time. So that's a really, really good turn as well.
Did you look at Trevor Lawrence on this? On the graded? You did?
Yeah, there was nothing on Trevor
Lawrence
for the graded to graded. So
I forgot.
Which is why we ran the
That's right.
Prism card through the formula. All right, so let's jump off of this real quick and let's jump into our next commercial and then we will get it rolling.
Yo, Lefty, we use a lot of data, don't we? Well, I just want everyone to know that they can get the same data we get by signing up at marketmoversapp.com. Sign up at marketmoversapp.com today, but use the promo code NOOFFSEASON to save 20% after a free 14-day trial. That's marketmoversapp.com, promo code NOOFFSEASON.
All righty. So one thing we wanted to talk about before the end of this episode is we've talked a lot of numbers. We've done a lot of number crunching. Let's talk about a win that we currently have had. Yes, the episode title is Minshew Mania is here. One thing that we talked about earlier this spring is I said I believe that Minshew is going to be the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I was like, "There's no way that O'Connell beats him out, and there's just no way that whoever else is on that roster is going to beat Minshew." Minshew signed for a very, very aggressive backup amount of money. Like they paid a good amount of money to bring him in. They don't bring in that kind of a backup for that price. He has been statistically one of the best backups that the NFL has seen over the last, maybe 5 or 10 years. And Minshew is a guy that has a massive cult following. And so what my take was, as I said, if Minshew makes the starting lineup for this Raiders offense, I believe in that. And I'm going to go ahead and buy 3 of his PSA 10 rookie prisms. So went out and bought them, had an average price of $21. And I've currently already moved 2 of them into 7 and I have one in a 7-day auction, one in a 10-day auction, and they already currently have over $5 bids, and I bought them at around $18. So it's been on auction for less than 12 hours, and it's already a third of the way to where I bought them from. I expect them to sell around $30 to $40. There's Minshew Mania is in full swing. Of course, by the time these auctions end, there would be another Minshew Mania preseason game that rolls around. So the Raiders are in full swing. Minshew Mania is in full swing. I ended up holding one back so that when he does well in the Raiders camp, if he does well in the first game or something like that, I can sell on a performance spike. But this is exactly what we do in the formula. The formula said Minshew might be a good buy. His return on investment was pretty good. And so I said, I am full on going in on Minshew Mania. Ended up buying the cards for around the target price and from the graded to graded formula, and moving the cards when they're supposed to be moved. So I think the projected return on investment was like 36% or something like that, which is pretty conservative. And I think that Minshew is going to have a great year with the Raiders. And whether he has a great year or not doesn't really matter to me, because I'm going to get these cards out before he has the chance to have a not bad or a not good year. So definitely just a good win for us in terms of what we're looking for. Definitely a good win for what we are trying to do with flipping cards. Minshew Mania is in full swing. We're excited about having his cards on eBay. I texted Paul yesterday when I got the alert from the Sleeper app that said, Minshew has been deemed as the starter for the Raiders, and he was like, "No way, you were right." And I was like, "Minshew Mania, baby, I'm rich." So my three Prism Chromes that I'm gonna make probably $100 on is not gonna make me rich, but it's definitely just good to be able to follow the formula and be able to see a good win come across the line. So, what are your thoughts there, Turner?
Well, props to you. That's all I gotta say. Props to you on your you flag planted it and followed through. And
so we've got 2 wins for the both of us in this episode. We've got Jace Young going. You're going to have a lot of profit there with some, or no matter what, whether you have profit or not, you're going to be getting funds back, and I'm sure that's extremely encouraging for you to see. 20 PSA 10 slabs sitting there is a lot less encouraging to you than seeing $400 sitting there that you could potentially move into another play. I mean, realistically, you could go buy one of these Trevor Lawrence's downtowns potentially with the money that you're going to make from these Jace Young cards. So you're going to be able to do good stuff in an Turner model where you're going to buy $1,000 cards after this and move them all at the same day. So definitely excited about that. So we talked about Fanatics Fest. We talked about Jace Young. We talked about Gardner Minshew. And the last thing we want to talk about is potentially the rise and fall of the prices based on the U.S. Open. So let's go to our very last commercial. We'll hit the U.S. Open real quick, and then we will hit the outro.
Lefty, we say that breaking is not necessarily a sports card strategy, but there's a lot of great things going on Whatnot other than breaking. They now have singles auctions and an improved overall experience on their platform. I want everyone to know that they can get $15 free on Whatnot by joining Whatnot through this URL. Go to whatnot.sportscardstrategy.com. That's whatnot.sportscardstrategy.com. Lefty, back to you.
All right, so the Cincinnati Open was this last week, and due to some weather and some other stuff, the final for the Cincinnati Open for the men is here today, and it's Yannick Sinner versus Francis Tiafoe. Could not be a more weighted final for Yannick Sinner to go and just absolutely crush Tiafoe. Tiafoe's a good tennis player, but just not the level at all of what Yannick Sinner is. And so Sinner's going to win the Cincinnati Open more than likely because Carlos Alcaraz has a abysmal game in the Cincinnati Open. And so how does this prepare us for the U.S. Open? The U.S. Open is coming in a couple of weeks. It's a or maybe next week actually. And so do you have the dates on that, Turner?
Well, whenever I was looking at it last night, it was saying it goes from like August 19th to September 9th, but I'll double check.
So that's like the prelims. So the prelims are starting this week. So, it'll go for a 2-week period. So the
No, it
big
says
guy,
August 26th through September 8th.
there you go. So it's about, 7 days from now. So about a week from now. So that's the big tournament that you're looking for. So some of these big names are going to potentially be at the US Open. It's a big tournament in New York. It's going to have all the lights on it. You're going to be able to watch this on ESPN. Usually it's a big tournament for us to be able to sell sports cards. Last year, Ben Shelton did really good in the tournament. There was, Carlos ended up winning it. It was an extremely good game. And so we saw his card prices go up last year when he won this. And so it's a really good event for the publicity of tennis. For those of you that have invested in tennis cards with us, I know that we talked about slab stocks also being invested in tennis cards and how the Topps Chromes of that are going to go pretty ballistic over the next couple of years. And so with Yannick Sinner and playing well, I expect him to go into the U.S. Open being the guy that I would be the favorite for. Of course, I don't expect Djokovic to play well. The Olympics was his big focus. He is a little bit nicked up this year, and so I would expect him not to win this. Probably going to go far because of if he's playing. But then Carlos, I expect to have a good turnaround at the U.S. Open because he played so bad in Cincinnati. I'm sure he's going to be really focused on what that looks like. So potential final of Carlos versus Yannick, which is the 1-2 of what we all want to see. So the card prices wise, Carlos has the more investable cards right now, but in the future, they're both going to have Chrome autos in the tennis Topps Chrome set. Definitely going to be buying those over the next year or so. So what are your last thoughts before we peace out here, Turner?
My main thought is that I need to get some cards listed.
Yeah, you do, baby.
That's for sure. But
you've got 45 minutes before you hit work, so I know you're going to be doing your due diligence and getting those Jace Young autos out there, or Jace Young slabs out there. So,
oh yeah.
All right, man. Well, love you. For those of you guys that listen to us often, we appreciate you. Definitely hit the subscribe button and be able to share this wherever you want. We enjoy having this as a sports card community. As always, we do this for the fun of the game, and we're trying to teach you guys to be able to make money like we are. So for those of you that are out there that are listening, thanks for making it this far. Peace.
Lefty, great work on today's show. Thanks for supporting Lefty Cards, part of the nooffseason.com sports card network. Get a free 30-day trial today at nooffseason.com to check out our formula-based sports card rankings to help you make money flipping sports cards. Subscribe to Lefty Cards on YouTube and follow us on socials by visiting leftycards.com.